Okay, so let's talk about the LA riot, which is a riot right now. It's no longer a protest because there's burning of properties. Uh, but it's no longer an LA riot. It has now moved to various states, right? Texas is experiencing it. New York is having a similar thing. But I want to have a candid conversation about us, Black folks, who say this is not our fight. We're not we're not to join into this. You know, the ones that are going about saying they fight this immigration fight that's happening or this protest, that Black people should not be part of it. This is not our fight. I'm going to have a very candid conversation, and I don't really care who gets upset about what I'm about to say. Because the rhetoric we're hearing from the Black people who say this is what has kept Black people under for centuries. Black folks are known to go against their own interests. Black folks, Black people, whether they're Black people in America or they're Black people in Africa or anywhere, for some reason, we don't have the intelligence to think beyond our emotions, which is why we're always losing the chess game, because we always vote against our interests due to emotions. Let me first of all start by saying that the Latinos who are going through their thing right now, on a strategic standpoint, they deserve what's going on, especially the ones that voted for the guy in office right now. They deserve that from a strategic standpoint, because I don't understand how anyone could have heard the man, and I'm talking about Donald Trump, when he was running to become president of the United States for the second term. He said he was going to do this. It was no secret. He didn't hide it. And you found Latino men overwhelmingly in this last election, about almost 60% of them voted for this man, knowing fully well that he said when he gets into office, he was going to carry out what we're seeing today. I don't know too many Latinos who don't have a family member who is undocumented. I don't know too many Latinos who may not have a cousin or a second cousin, someone in their family line who is undocumented. You certainly have someone, but they still voted for a man who said on the campaign trail that he was going to carry mass deportation. So from a strategic standpoint, they deserve what's going on. That part, I don't feel sorry for them. You see, the Latino community, let me help them understand this if they're watching this, right? They succeeded in offending Black people, two sets of Black people. Because when Black people are sitting this one out, or the ones that are saying they're sitting it out, I can understand where they're coming from. Because they succeeded in upsetting two sets of Black people. The first one would be me, who did not want to see a man like that in the White House. I didn't vote for him. I think he's a racist idiot. So they offended those groups of people who did not vote for this man. Right? Secondly, they offended the ones who didn't want to vote for his opponent. The ones who voted for him, who wanted him to carry out exactly what he's doing right now, who did not want to vote for Kamala Harris, right? So they offended that. So these two sets of Black people, Latinos offended them, which is why a lot of Black folks are saying, sit this one out. Sit this one out, right? I would agree with the ones that didn't vote for Trump and saying, which is why I said, from a strategic standpoint, I don't feel sorry for that. Because you voted for a man who said he was going to carry this out. So when you're now seeing your grandmothers, your cousins, someone in your family member, in your family line getting deported, what am I supposed to do? Feel sorry for you? You voted him in. Okay, right. Now, but that is an emotional thing. Let's get to the part now that I want to get to, which is that Black folks are saying this does not concern us. You see, the Black folks that are saying this are the ones that don't have a job, the ones that aren't doing anything in society. Because if you have a job, if you're earning money, if you are bringing money in as a man or a woman into your life every day, you would know that what's going on is inflationary. You would know that what is happening right now with the deportation of these people, whom we can all argue and say, yes, they brought it upon themselves, the one that voted for him. However, they are a fabric of our society, whether you like it or not. Right? So from an interest-based standpoint, I don't know how you could be someone who is making money in the country, right? Who's earning a paycheck, who has to go to the grocery store and purchase items to feed yourself or your loved ones day in, day out, week in, week out, monthly, and not look at this as inflationary, something that's going to affect you. Because the question is, who's gonna build your house? Okay, no, we need the house that you're trying to get into, or the one that you're in right now. You're only able to afford the price tag of that house because someone was working on a cheap labor. If you don't understand the economics of a house building, first of all, I'm going to break this down for you, right? Then you need to go and learn, because I wouldn't expect anyone who's educated, who understands the value of money, who understands economics, right, to be saying that, yes, I love this happening. The ones that you're hearing saying this are the most uneducated people on the planet. Because you will never hear me come out and say that, yeah, send them all out. This doesn't affect me. What? Because who's going to build your house? Because if you're going to say that you do it, why are you not doing it today? Because when I go to the construction sites, the house I'm in right now, or the ones that I've had previously, the construction site, the people building these houses are not people that look like you and I. Yes, you can go there and ask for a job anytime, and they can try to give it to you, but are you doing it today? No, you're not. Secondly, when your cost of goods and our food go up, because now you've kicked out the ones that are driving the price of goods down through their labor. And when it starts affecting you at the grocery store, does that now become something that affects you? Okay. Secondly, who's going to do some of the menial jobs that you and I aren't going to do? Because if you sit up here and tell me you're going to do the job, I'm going to call BS on that. Because are you doing it today? So when you're seeing the people in LA, the white folks, right, that are protesting for the Hispanics, they're not doing that because they are morally affected or morally confused about this. They know it's going to affect them. You see, they're smart. The white folks over there are smart because they know that this is going to affect them, because they know that these guys are the one cutting their yards. These guys are the one building their houses. These guys are the one driving down the cost of goods at the grocery store. These guys are the ones that are making sure that at least they can afford certain decent things in terms of produce. When you kick them out and you put you and I in that situation, right? Because that's exactly what you hear people say. I will do that job. Great. No one is saying you can't do that job. But the person that is going to pay you is going to have to factor that in, cost of goods and labor, into the price of whatever he's selling to the consumers. So if he was paying 2 cents or a dollar, right? Let me just use this for giggles. If the cost of labor on that produce was $1.25, you come in and say, first of all, you're not going to accept $1.25. So he has to pay you because you're an American citizen, right? It's such a price tag. He'll give it to you. However, now he has to factor that into the costs of goods, which he has to sell to the consumer, people like you and I who have to pay for that. Are you going to pay for that? Are you going to pay a price increase on that? Which is why I said this is inflationary. So when you're saying this doesn't affect you, help me understand that. Because you live in the same economy that I live in, as if the whole tariff situation It's not bad enough. And it's already impacting our wallets, by the way, which is why I say if you're not earning a paycheck, if you're not earning, then you're the one talking the nonsense you're talking. But if you're the one going to work, right? You know what it's like to put in a time at a job or even have a business, right? Where you're earning a currency, which then you use to fund your lifestyle. If you're doing that, you certainly know, the cost of things. You're aware of what things cost. Gas, groceries, utilities. You're aware of the everyday life. But if you're someone that's mooching off somebody else who is working, you're not making money. You're just sitting down and you just, counting the clouds and the sheep. You're not earning money. You're not doing anything. Of course, I can kind of see how you can tell people to sit this out because this does not affect you. So help me understand this. Black people, please leave it in the comment section. I want you to leave it in the ones that are saying this is not our fight. Leave it in the comment section. Because, let me be clear again, I agree with you in terms of these ones brought it upon themselves, especially if you're like me, who didn't vote for Donald Trump. Yes, you brought it upon yourself. You voted him in. So now you got to pay the price for that. I get that. But because these guys and everyone is tied into the fabric of society, there's no way you can do a decoupling without it affecting you. There's no way. He's gonna kick out 12 million on Hispanic people from this country? Is that what he's about to do? He's not gonna do that. Just kicking out 1 million is gonna be a problem for you and I. So I started this whole video by saying Black folks have always been known to vote against their interest, to fight against their interest, because I haven't seen one intelligent one so far from these so-called ones that say this is not our fight. Give me a reason why this is not your fight. Help me understand. Put it in the comment section. Give me an intelligent reason. Take away your ridiculous emotion. Don't come up in here and talk because you expose yourself as that jobless person that I just talked about. But if you're the type of person who is making money from either a business or from a W-2, help me understand how this situation is not inflationary the way it affects you and I every day. When I have the guy that cuts my yard every 2 weeks, come and cut my yard. He's a Mexican. I've had him for a while now. The guy that cuts my yard. I remember prior to getting him, right? And I'm sure a lot of you can relate to this. Prior to getting him, I went to one of these fancy white boys who's got like these fancy apps. They tell you to go on the app to go and schedule your lawn care. You know how much he wants to charge me for every 2 weeks lawn care? He wants to charge me $95 to $110. So I opted into one of those situations to have them come cut my yard. When I paid, first I have to pay up front, because this is their fancy stuff. These are white people. This is their fancy. Right? They kept calling my yard. Lousy job. I decided to discontinue that service with them. I went to another one. I had a black man come and cut my yard. He said he would do it for like $85. Lousy job, right? I was unsatisfied with it. I had a Latino guy, Mexican, the one cutting my yard today, $65. I've had him now for 2 years. Not only, right, did he give me a lower price, he did a pristine job. Now I'm going somewhere with this. Every one of my neighbors right here, right? Every house that I live in, they all use Mexicans to cut their yard because they're saving on the cost and they want a great job done. That's just yard work. So for some of you who say we can do the work, right? But you're doing the work charging an arm and a leg that most people who are earning a paycheck, who are trying to make sure that they're not misusing their money and want a quality job and quality work done, those individuals not about to hire you for that job. They're not about to do it. They're not, because you're coming with a cost. which is fine. It's your right to charge that because you're an American citizen, right? It is my right to pay you that because I am an American citizen also, right? So now we have a conundrum. We have a problem here now because you're charging an American rate. This person right here is giving me a better rate. Who do you think I'm going to go with? This is the same decisions that your big store, big box retailers are making every day. Your grocery store retailers are making every day. Your banks, your builders are making every day. The same people who are providing you the lifestyle that you so-called have in the country. This is the decision because at the end of the day, when people look at their balance sheets and they look at the income statement, they want to understand, especially if you are in business, that I can factor in a profit from all the operational costs, right, that I have to count on. I have to have a profit. And every company, even your jobs today, are cutting people off because AI is taking away everybody's job. It's all about dollars and cents. It's all about dollars and cents. So when you kick them all out of the country, Mr. Black man and black woman, that this doesn't affect you, right? Help me understand how you're going to have a non-inflationary economy because you can do the job, but are they going to pay you for it? And if they do pay you for it, what happens to that cost of good final product? What happens to that? Because the ones that are at the bottom of society who are going to feel it the most are black people who are earning low wages today. So you find the ones who are already strapped for coins saying, this is not going to affect us. This is not our fight. Don't get into it. But you know that you're the one that's going to affect the worst when the cost of goods go up because you're hardly bringing in much in. So are you able to afford an increased lifestyle of the one that you're getting right now? Come on. I don't care who is offense. I don't care. So black folks got to get to a point where we got to use our head, be strategic in our decision. Because right now you're all emotional. Huh? You're all emotional. But I'm sure when that paycheck comes in every 2 weeks and you have to pay your rent, you have to go to the grocery store, I'm sure that is no longer emotional. It's a logical thing you have to deal with every day. Right? Am I right or wrong? Am I right or wrong? These people are part of our society. They've been in our society for years. So when you were hiring them for the jobs in your house to build your deck, and you know he didn't speak a lick of English, did you ask him, are you legal in this country? No, you didn't ask that because you know you needed him to give you that cheap labor so you can build your deck. You didn't ask that. When you had him build, when you go to the construction sites, right? Like I told you, houses are getting built around here. I drive by every single time, and I'm seeing houses getting built. The guys on top of the roof, the guys that built your house, if you're one of the lucky ones to own a house, when you were going over there to the construction site and you saw those guys, did you ask him or her, yo, you don't speak any English. Are you in this country illegally or legally? No, you did not. You closed your eyes because you wanted him to build your house. And now you want to drive him out of the country because you want to be political. You see how that works? You see how that works? So drive him out and go build a house. And let's see if that house, you can afford it tomorrow. Why do you think the United States opened up its borders, right? During Lyndon Johnson, right? When they wrote in the Immigration Act, why do you think that happened? Why do you think that the United States economy boomed the moment they did that? And every president, all the way through before this one that you have, who's an idiot, who's going to bankrupt the country before he leaves. He only has one term. He doesn't care. Right? He doesn't care. Right? He's like, dude, I'll do whatever to my please. You and I got to live through this whole thing when it's all done. He'll go. You and I got to continue this whole lifestyle. When he's all gone, he's going to be rich. He's already rich. But you and I are everyday living, right? We got to continue this whole thing. So why do you think previous presidents have not done what he's done? Okay. This is why I say that when black folks are saying sit this one out, and I understand why black folks will feel the way they feel, but you got to take your emotion out, especially when it has to do with matters that have to do with you, your survival every day. Right? Because other than that logical reasoning, then you're just being spiteful. You just like, yeah, kick them out because I don't like them Latinos because one of them didn't want me dating his daughter and one of them didn't like me because of my skin color and they called me a bunch of nonsense. Because I can tell you right now too, I'm not a fan of Latino men. I can tell you right there for a fact. I don't really care for them. I don't. I'm not afraid of saying it. I'm not found too many that are really fancy. I don't find too many of them that I really care about. Because I understand the racism. They're racist. I get that. I used to live in New York. I know about the Dominicans. I know about the Puerto Ricans. I know how they act. They're racist towards us. I know about the Mexicans in Texas. I get it. But this has nothing to do with me and my feelings towards the Latino or the Hispanic. This has to do with my interest. And what's happening right there, what's happening right now in LA and all over and all that whole thing is going to affect you and I's bottom line. So deal with it. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Like the video if you want to. I don't really give a shit. Subscribe. I don't really give a shit. But the point of the matter is you got to think this thing through. You got to think it through before you start saying this doesn't affect me or you. It is going to affect you and I, whether you like it or not. See you next time.